Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to APM Research Live. On the panel with me today is Jimbo. One Conscience unfortunately has some issues that she has to take care of, so won't be joining us, but she might pop in later. So hello Jimbo, and hello to everyone in the chat. Today we will be giving you some new updates and also some doing questions and answers because we love interacting with our subscribers. And we have many answers, so do write down your questions. First, we will let Jimbo tell you what he has been doing since our last work together. Hello, Jimbo, and welcome back.
I opened a window. I got to figure out how to close it now, so give me another minute or two here.
Okay, Jim. Stand by. Stand by, Bill. Yeah, just stand by, people. Won't be long. And hello, everyone in the chat. Squirrel, Luca, Monique. Who else is here?
I have to reboot, I think.
Annie. All right, Jim, I'll catch you shortly, mate. Jim's just doing a reboot. Jan.
Or something.
I can hear you fine on the panel, Jim, so I'm not sure what's going on your end.
Well, I got echo because I got a web page open. I can't
right, yeah.
Close Chrome. Let me figure out how to close Chrome.
Okay. Or mute the watch page.
That one. That.
Hey, Badfish, how's it going, mate? We're just letting Jimbo sort out some echo issue. One Conscience might join us later, depending what's taking place. She's got some emergency she needs to take care of, and that comes first. Hello, Salvador. Hello, Mark. Jimbo's one of our old researchers from when we kind of first formed this team. Jimbo's been with us a long time, but the last couple of years he's took some time out for other reasons, which he's going to let you talk. He's going to talk about in a few moments and let you know what he's been doing and what he plans to be doing now he's back again. He's going to talk about. Hello, Noel.
That should do it. I think I'm good. Only one.
You all good there, Jim?
Yeah, should be all good. Well, hello, everyone.
Hello, Jim.
Good to be back. Been missing you all. Had a bit of a fire and a stretch of homelessness there. Should be coming to an end soon. So I should be able to get back to some work and some basic information emanation, if you will, from the domain of electronics and just maybe some chemistry. Who knows? Probably.
Yeah, lots of projects we can get into now, isn't there? With your skills and what we've learnt so far.
Maybe our own free energy type of little investigation too.
Aha, Jax. Yeah, that's what we're talking about, isn't it? You know, free energy. That's what it all leads to. It's always been here.
An infinite amount.
So yeah, Jimbo's going to be carrying on with his Giants and Titans projects and also introducing you to electronics courses, which I'm interested in myself, as I've been doing some of that research myself in the background. So I'll definitely be watching those ones, Jim.
Yeah, you'll be information on all the components, how they work, resistors, transistors, diodes, you name it, Zener diodes. They're called reverse avalanche diodes. They all have special functions. You know, a lot of things are pretty simple. If you wire in an LED backwards in a circuit with the right voltage, you have a light detector. So the same component wired in differently just gives you another feature, which is pretty cool.
Your audio's a bit low there, Jim. Say again there.
Yeah, if you take a diode, or not a diode, light emitting diode, an LED, wire it in backwards into the right circuit, it becomes a light detector. So stuff like
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. You know?
Cheap LDR.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to those. I've been doing some experiments. I don't know if you've caught up. Yeah, Jimbo's a bit behind on our current research, guys. So, but he'll pick it up as he goes along again, because he did need some time out when we were doing all this research some time ago.
A bit of overload going on there, so a bit of burnout, you know, and it take a couple of years, not a couple of weeks to kind of get my feet back on the ground, you know. So
yeah, that's expected, Jim. You know, I don't expect anything of anyone on this team. If people need time out, then by all means take it. You know, there's no pressure, no anything. It's do it in your own time, really, isn't it?
yeah, one of the big things here was just people to, you know, listen to stories about, you know, giants or whatever the case may be, flat Earth, you know. Michael Tellifer, I guess it is not promoting it, but back into like not denying it no more either, you know. So
yeah, I think the more this information gets out there, the more open-minded they're going to be about it. You know, I think it's at the back of everyone's minds anyway by now. You know, there has to be a technology involved. We've known this for years now, but you know, people are now cotton on to this from watching our research. There's more going on than meets the eye.
Japan Banjo, I guess his name has been putting out a few videos of late, which are pretty good, you know.
The problem with him is he's a pizza map proponent, and it's been long debunked, hasn't it? So I don't take any of them serious that's pushing the maps and models. I can't, because it shows they haven't done their research. Sorry, no mercy for anyone here anymore. Not the way they've been treating us.
It's like the easy way out, the pizza maps, you know. So.
Well, it's disinformation, it's dishonest, it's disingenuous what's going on in that arena.
Well, it's saleable in a, you know, 12 by 12 box, you know, so make clocks out of it and other stuff, you know, so it's easy to market, you know. As an alternative, pretty easy to market.
Yeah, but you can't put false alternatives out there, can you? Knowingly, that's what's going wrong. But I'm sure they've got their reasons, and they're nothing to do with us. Anything they say or do doesn't affect us, and we carry on regardless.
No.
So, over to the chatters in chat. What would you guys like us to talk about today? And have you got any people got any questions that they want answered live? The giant metal plate in Greenland, Luca, that's part of the 8x8 grid that covers pretty much the center of the map. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of things going on in that region. And as you can see on the grid, there's lots of connections coming from and going to it.
The iron plates.
Yeah. Yeah, the one you found in Greenland, Jim, that, you know, it's part of that big plate that's in the center, isn't it? The cross-shaped plate. And Luke was asking.
They all seem cut from the same piece and moved and laid out where they are, you know. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I'll highlight some of these questions so we can get them on the screen so other people see them. What was that one? The chat on here is slow compared to what's going on in the live stream. That's why I can't see some of these messages. All right, we'll get this. Your camera's on, Jim. Yeah. Hello, there's Jimbo. Here's a question from Salvador. What do you think about hidden extra land behind the wall? I'm not sure what you mean by wall. All the man-made barriers are the North and South treaties and the international date lines in the East and West. They're the real man-made barriers to hide what's beyond in all directions. And hidden extra land has already been identified to the west of Alaska. That is impossible to be Russia, and the compass proves that it's not Russia. We've shown videos of this this location previously. It is not Russia. You would need a globe for that to be Russia, because the international date lines are where they cut the map and wrapped it around Google Earth to create a ball. And that's where the join is. So you unwrap the globe correctly, which is what Series did with this data that he hacked out of Google Earth, and it produced the map that we work with, which, as you know, GPS is using that same map, the Mercator map. So it's the real world map, and that's why we use it. We can't debunk it, and no one else can. So it's all directions, and towards south, I think I would rather go east than south, because it's warmer, and we need to see where these luminaries are coming from. Because, like I said, they're not Pac-Maning it across the map. They go across the map, they shut down, return, and start again the next day, depending which luminary we're talking about. This is the sweepback transformer and flyback configuration Jimbo decoded years ago. This is how it really works. So the international date lines are stopping you knowing there is beyond in those directions, and the pizza maps on the globe are designed to hide what's east and west by making them models, Pac-Man Sun model going round in circles, which is not really the
Google
case.
Is at the heart of, like, misrepresentation of this realm. Boy, do they misrepresent it.
Yeah. So I hope that answers it.
They can make a nice part of a town look like it's been bombed out, You go there, everything's pristine. So you can't trust what you see on stupid Google Earth, I'm starting to realize that.
Yeah, well, they're modifying it now to hide sites that don't want you to see. But I mean, when we were doing it, they weren't hiding them then, and it was easy to find things.
Yeah.
But I know what you mean. Yeah, they're covering a lot up in Google Earth now, so it's a bit late for that, though. We've been decoding it for 5 years. We know what's going on. That doesn't worry us now, does it?
Mm.
Yes, 100% the Mercator map, Monique. We can't debunk it, and neither can anyone else. They might tell you they can, but they cannot.
No. And there are, other continents, if you will, that are hidden from us. Yes.
Yes, in all directions.
Yeah.
This world's bigger than we've been told. And World War II the objectives of World War II were to take control of these perimeters, because in 1937, Amelia Earhart flew an aircraft going towards the eastern boundaries, the eastern international date lines, which would not, you fly east, you're going to keep going east. You're not going to arrive in the west. You're going to keep going east. So she was stopped from flying in that direction. As far as I'm concerned, and possibly other members on the team, this is what triggered World War II. They had to start taking control of the perimeters, because mankind now had access to aircraft and flight in all directions. So they had to take control of the perimeters and air and shipping traffic. And this is where we found 5 years ago, we decoded this, because our Nazca line decodes were going beyond the date lines, which told us the date lines have to be fake. And we, after looking into aircraft data 5 years ago, and One Conscious started looking at shipping, we proved there is nothing crossing the international date lines. They just flip the data so it appears to be crossing. That's what's really taking place. We highlighted that 5 years ago, and we've been a thorn in the Globus side ever since about it. Now, they only attempted one flight that I know of to debunk flat Earth map and model, which in this case, it was the Gleasons they were debunking. So they flew a flight from Perth, Australia, to some location in South America. They made a video, the data's on their channel, and the GPS data's there, and it was a straight line flight west to this destination. That debunks pizza maps, but it didn't debunk our map. It proves our theory. You cannot go east to arrive in the west. They had to fly west to get there, not east. So there was their chance to prove you can cross the international date lines, and they failed. And they've never tried it since that I'm aware of. They avoid the issue completely. It's not, you might see some channels recently putting, "Ooh, look, I've discovered some stuff at the date lines," but it's stuff we discovered 5 years ago, and it's always been part of this research. We keep going back and revisiting it. One Conscious and Sandra have done some lovely work on the sunrise and sunsets from the Diomedes, proving that those two little islands, one's in the east and the data for the other is actually coming from the west. So all the data's been flipped and rigged to look like a globe, but it is not a globe. Hope that helps.
It's like the Falkland Island Wars. Was there really a reason to go to war over a bunch of sheep on an island? I don't think so. It's more a logistic thing. The British wanted to keep it for a reason. I don't know what reason or reasons, but they're ready to, do anything to keep it.
Well, it's quite close to Antarctica anyway, isn't it? So you can see a reason for them wanting it.
Yeah.
Because since World War II, look at World War II, you analyse that, they took control of the perimeters, then they got the North and South treaties, they organised the flight and shipping data so they can flip it. And that's what we want people to do. If your flight or ship is alleging to cross the international date lines, all we can do really is ask people to join in, take a personal GPS unit with them and a compass, and let us know where the rail routes are, because this data has been flipped at the control room. Some control room that flips this data, which tells us the data that you're using of your own GPS data will differ to what this flip data is saying. And that, as a proof of that is that flight the Globus took going from Perth, Australia to South America. Their data showed it actually flew west in a straight line pretty much. So anyone's flight or ship alleging to cross the international date lines, by all means try and help us identify where the rail routes are, because this is how we're going to find them, by people taking personal devices with them and finding out where the rail routes are. It seems that most of them take what you would call the northern routes, and we now understand what's going on in the south. They're not crossing the date lines, they're having to cross the map. So they should be easy for people to track. So to debunk this map, you would have to prove to us you are crossing the international date lines with GPS data and compass information, etc., etc. And no one's ever done it on either side of the argument. We know you can't. Our research and data shows you cannot do it. You would need a globe or some strange Pac-Man type map, which we don't believe in, for land to be looping.
I wish we could get a plane up over the north and have John Poland on it with his photography. I think too, but north of north. It's never 1,200 miles view.
I can't hear you, Jim, for that noise in the background there.
Too bad we can't get like John Toland in a plane up north with his equipment to take a shot further north. He'd find something.
Yeah, some good photography from that guy.
Yeah.
I mean, there's loads of channels out there putting some amazing footage out there. I do look around.
Yeah, some of the 3D software he had and was working with, and just some of the things that he could scope out, and take pictures of, just amazing. Just one of those guys out there that, his eyes open to the flat Earth, eh? It's like, what's his name? Oh, I mentioned him earlier there. He does anthropology. Knows it's flat, the Earth, but got so much like trolling when he first started pushing it there. Telefer. Anyway.
Yeah, expect that. High-level trolling.
John Tallinger, I guess it is.
Yeah. Mike, yeah.
Mike and he got trolled to death, but now he laughs at it, and he's back into it, eh?
Is he? Oh, that's good news. I have been, every time you uploaded a video, I kept telling him to check out our research, give him some ideas of other avenues he needs to be exploring. I don't know if he ever did. I know someone in the Flat Earth community actually met him outside one of these conferences he did and suggested he take a look as well. So maybe he will, maybe he won't. Who knows? You can only put it out there and hope
wonder what he thinks about the robot angels there. Elohim robot angels.
Well, it'll give them answers for their sacred geometry. We can decode their sacred geometry. It doesn't matter which country it is, all decode the same. We can decode a different nation's sacred geometry. If he wants us to take a look at what's around there, we'll certainly take a look.
I tried to look at people teaching some cuneiform and stuff, those tick marks kind of the giants apparently have, but they're all so different the way these people interpret them. I don't buy it, So they try to show you the set of numbers from 1 to 10, and it's not coherent, But anyway, might have to do some mushroom or something and figure it out myself. Who knows?
Let's check the chat for more questions. What we got? Any questions we missed? What is your take on the sky being a looking glass? I wouldn't say as much of a looking glass, more of a tool that all this technology is manipulating. The sky is the ether; it's manipulating the ether horizontally and vertically.
I think he means the surface, what it's the container or the rakia might be. I think it's metal, like they say, hammered steel or hammered.
Oh, right, like a firmament.
Yeah.
Personally, I don't think there's anything solid. We can only see as far as the stars, really. So you'd have to speculate on what's beyond there. And this is where domes and things come into it. But we can see you don't actually need a dome because the electromagnetics at play already create a dome anyway. It's electromagnetic domes we're looking at, or spheres. We're really looking at torus fields, which are spheres, which are electromagnetic domes. But normally we see half it above the surface, which is what sits below every rainbow. That's a torus field of one of these angels.
Well, math for getting your bearings at sea and stuff puts the sun at 32 miles across and about 3,200 miles up. And to do your calculations for your location on the.
I would say the best way to determine one's height is by the diameter of the halo and follow its cone up to where it comes to the apex, and that's where the sun is. So it would be the diameter of the halo that dictates the altitude in the sky. That makes sense, with the cones, doesn't it? And they're all going to vary. So scale-wise, if you can get your hands on the sun halo and get down there and get some tape measures to it, by all means, let us know how wide what's the diameter of this halo. And then we'll know exactly how high up in the sky the cone goes, and we can give you a very precise figure of where it is in the sky.
Can we spend a moment laughing at the web drawings and cartoons that they're sending back? And
go for it, Jim.
I guess that's enough. Next subject. It's too funny. I can't look.
It's like 1970s stuff, isn't it?
Really, instead of like in a shopping mall where you have a map and it says you are here, that's our cosmic map. I'm surprised they don't have an arrow and a dot and say you are here, But yeah, it looks like the same type of cartoon graphics that they gave in 1970, 1971. Oh, forever. Once they got color, it was color.
That's what reminded me of like 1970s wallpaper or something.
Yeah, you'd think one day one of the artists who airbrushed all this shit for them would come out and say, "Hey, here's the originals," You'd think. But I think they're pathetic. Yeah, the Chinese, so-called, space whatever, they show one guy, he's sitting, kind of squatting, whatever, but in front of him on one of the benches in their spacecraft is a glass of water. Just sitting there. Very unusual. Gravity pocket. That's what they always call it, a gravity pocket. Yeah.
Make so many mistakes, it's unbelievable.
Yeah. Well, they're clown actors anyway. They ham it up. They're no better than Charlie Chaplin. Yeah, Charlie Chaplin could have made space movies. Given that little, "oh, I'm so shy" look, What are you going to do?
I'm just looking for a video clip I'm going to share.
60 million a year. Here we go.
I'm just going to mute that a bit. Pause it a second. I'll just mute you, Jim, while I let this play, because where we are. Hold on. Oh, you muted, that's okay. Right, here's some updates on Angkor Wat, people. I was asked a week or so ago to look into this. We actually done this some time ago, it just never got released. So I'll let this play and let you have a listen on the APM perspective of Angkor Wat. I'll just full screen it. Mute yourself and let it play. Today, we will reveal what Angkor Wat truly represents so you can see this for yourself. Angkor Wat, meaning the City of Temples, is located in northwest Cambodia. It is the largest temple complex in the world by land area. At the centre of the temple stands a quincunx of 4 towers surrounding a central spire that rises to a height of 65 metres, 213 feet above the ground. The temple has 3 rectangular galleries, each raised above the next. Pay particular attention to the 4 spiralling towers and the central spire. Here is some real-world magnetic data from series that shows where in our world these locations are. They are structures in the underworld, and the 4 pillars are the ones referenced in holy books and represent the torus fields from the angel technologies in the underworld. Angkor Wat is a massive blueprint of the Creator's construct and underworld, hence the name, the City of Temples. It reveals their locations when placed over the map and grid, including parts that go beyond the international date lines. Ladies and gentlemen, Angkor Wat is a massive blueprint of this realm. It represents the reactor at the centre of our grid, with its central column being a large torus field. The 4 pillars mentioned holy books are these 4 you see here. We will try to reveal their locations in our next video. This is a decode of the Sri Yantra, brought to life by Sandra. What you will see is it represents the exact same creation process. The compression, fusion, expansion, division and multiplication, which is what you see with the lotus leaves. The expansion part of the process caused them to divide and multiply, which is how creation works. We will be decoding more of your sacred geometry to help you realize what it represents. That is an APM research promise. So there you go, people. That was an APM research decode on Angkor Wat and the Sri Yantra. I'll just stop sharing that. There we go. So, hope that helps people in the chat and helps them understand what that was about. And if you look at this Sri Yantra, it's basically showing you nuclear fusion, which is exactly what this technology is doing. It's compressing the light spectrum to a fusion point and then expanding it again. This is how this technology works: compression, fusion, expansion, division, multiplication. It divides and multiplies the light in the ether. It manipulates the ether. This is what it's designed to do, and this is pretty much very provable. We've got some more footage I'm going to show you in a bit. I want you to take a look at and compare it to what you see in reality as well. So, any questions on Angkor Wat and the Sri Yantra from people in the chat? And hopefully you heard that okay. Yeah, it's got audio. Just rewound it to have a quick look. So there you go, people. That was a quick Angkor Wat decode, because someone was asking a week or so ago about sacred geometry in the Far East. We've looked at it for some time, and it decodes the same. They just depict things differently, but it always decodes the same. And leads us to this nuclear fusion technology, which isn't what people think it is. If you followed our previous research, the Pyramid of Giza, the King's and Queen's chambers are exactly the same. They are fusion reactors. This is how this technology works. It's no different to Walter Russell's optical motor, or Rome Colosseum for that matter. It's the same, another decode, different type building, same configuration and setup to create what we call nuclear fusion. These are fusion reactors compressing the light spectrum. It's always been here, and as far back as we can look, such as the pyramids in South America, Mexico, Temple of the Sun, where they found Mercury. You can find the Mercury decode, the Milky Way decode, the alternating current decode in our 144,000 video. That's where this research was coming from. So it's amazing, you know, there's more parts of the world we look, people, it all decodes the same. We can see this technology was well known and understood by our ancestors. They depicted it everywhere. They were not worshipping false gods. They were glorifying the Creator's glory, the Creator's handiwork, which is what this is all about. This is where we are revealing the Creator's glory and how it works. Very serious, very real, and very now. And on that note, I would like to speak to any tribal leaders of the world on their knowledge, like the Hopi tribe and other tribes, because there was some block from attending a United Nations meeting at some point in history, because these people are holders of sacred information, and we recognize that sacred information. We see it, we know and understand it. We might even be able to teach these people a bit more about it if they've forgotten it, because that's what's basically been taking place in history. We've got resets, we've got wars, indoctrination, and everything. But we go beyond man's written books, and we still see the same story being told. The names and characters change, but it's still the same technology doing the same purposes and roles. They personified the technology, and that's how easy it is to hide it. All this technology was given name, character, sex, and other attributes to help define its role. This is what we've been decoding for the past 5 years. What we're referencing, like saints and deities, is this technology below that it's all referencing. And we're just going to keep showing it and proving it and find different ways to explain it to you people, because it does belong to you all. It's your birthright to know this. We all knew this at some point in history. The glyphs show it. At some point in history, we all understood the same glyphs. So now we have language changes to confuse. New languages popping up everywhere, yet when you go back to the glyphs that come with their original stories, it's telling the same story, and you've got pictures in glyph form to cross-reference it with. Whereas modern books, you're assuming this is talking about people and bringing them to life as these characters are people. You know, you're bringing characters in a book to life as people, when it's actually technologies of the Creator that it's referencing. These are the Creator's glory, the angels of the underworld. What the technology that man is calling a particle accelerator. What we are saying is they were always here. There's 144,000 to locate, and the rainbow is their signature. If you watch our Operation Rainbow Warrior videos, we give hints and tips and ways to prove to yourself that you can go out there and prove these rainbows reside where you see them. They switch on and they switch off. So we are what you would call the rainbow warriors of our time. We understand it, we know it, we can explain it, and we need to be interacting with the right people at the right levels. Not the levels we're doing in this field, this community. Above this, there's people above this we need to be speaking to, but who do you trust? Who do you speak to? All we can do is share our work with you and our knowledge, and you can share it with other people and show it to them. You know, this is what we do. We try and find ways to prove this to yourself in the real world, and the rainbow is one of them. is the signature of an angel. If you want proof of a creator, we're giving it you. Seven years ago, I didn't believe in a creator. 6 years ago, I couldn't deny it. But there's a difference in the creator being portrayed in what we're finding, and a difference what we're finding in holy books and other avenues of research, because it seems they're designed to hide it. These people know very well this relates to technology, and more proof of that is the Vatican translator Mauro Bellino, who came out in 2017 telling people what he was decoding in the Vatican. Angels are robots, technology. This is what the Vatican translator's telling us. Now, what the information he translates to the Vatican and they put in books is not that what they're putting in books is not what he's decoding. They're changing it. So they're very well aware of what's being decoded, how it works, and they're going well out of the way to hide it.
Yeah, he called them living angels too. So they're robots that have like life.
Yeah, it would make sense, wouldn't it? You know, when you think about it, they're animated things that they probably couldn't give. You know, how do you explain a robot to someone from their times? You know, you look at the ancestors trying to describe this, they find it so hard to describe. But at the end of the day, technology has always been with us. You know, humans and technology go together. We've always been taught it. It's always been around us. We've just forgot or been indoctrinated to forget about it. But it's there everywhere we look. We only need to see a spiral glyph and we know that culture knew how this technology works, because that's what's sacred about the spiral and sacred geometry. It all relates to how the Creator's glory works. So they were glorifying it. They weren't worshipping it. They were glorifying it. Big difference. So our ancestors were all correct. That is what we're seeing. They understood it. I mean, you look at technology like the Antikythera mechanism, which they tell us is 2,000-year-old. A hand-cranked computer that can plot all the motions of the luminaries and even the lunar phases, past, present, and future.
Made from fine brass parts.
Yeah. and even the guys trying to replicate it had hard job getting it right, didn't they?
They did in the end anyway. It's a beautiful machine. It's like an egg beater with the 10-speed gear assembly there, basically. It's never wrong.
No, I'm pretty sure NASA and them all still use it today. Why wouldn't you? It's very accurate. And so these calendars, like all the calendars that we've looked at for different type luminaries, you know, the ancients had a calendar for all the luminaries. I mean, we've just got the sun, the seasons, and the moon, and you know, people randomly look at other things, but they all had calendars for everything. Very special, this place, and it's been hidden. Very, very special.
I'd like to see the turtle calendar, come into more regular use there. The 13-month calendar, 28 days.
Yeah, the lunar calendar. Yeah, that's one of them, isn't it? Yeah, there's a lunar calendar, and then they had one for Mars, and yeah, they had it well worked out, the ancients. They understood this, and you know, they would have been schooled on this. Everywhere in the world was being schooled on this at some point, because the glyphs are proof of it. Doesn't matter where you look. You know, no one gets left behind here. The whole world knew what this world was and how it works.
The astrolabe proves that.
Yeah. You just reminded me of something. I'll just bring it up on screen to show the people in the chat. I'll just screen share this. Hold on, people. One moment. Right, this one here. Hopefully you can see that. You see that, Jim, yeah? Let's have a look. Oh, wait till it comes up on the screen in the stream. There it is.
See it now, yeah.
Yeah, right. I just want to play this because although we're on the surface looking up and everything looks vast and far away, people, Take a top-down perspective like we do. Step outside the box and look at this and see how small.
I don't think we can see it on the web page on YouTube.
Yeah, it's there. I can see it, Jim. I'm just not playing it yet. Yeah, it's on the watch page. Yeah. So standing on the ground looking up, everything looks far away and vast and blah blah blah. But now step outside the box and look at our map and grid from above, and you'll see that the world isn't that very large at all, really. Our luminaries haven't got that big a place to play in when you watch it from above. Very unique, very special, very local, very close, very obvious. So that's what it looks like from above, people. So they've got a very big amount of sky to play in as they cross our map, have they? All local and close. All repeatable and observable. You can't debunk this. This is reality. And I'll say this again. Reality is not a religion. Religion is a man-made divide and an attempt by man to put a copyright or claim on this technology. No race, religion, group, or nation has the right to claim this technology. It is the birthright of every human being. We are supposed to be its keepers. So there, look at that. Our luminaries haven't got a lot of sky to play in when you look at it from above, have they? It's all local, close, and very special. Wait for responses from the chat, if there is any. Hello, Anne. Hello, voice of Jindali. Yeah, indeed. Why do so many people fail to see what is going on in the world today? Our world is falling apart. Society is being dismantled before your very eyes to hide these revelations that we've been showing you for the past 5 years. These people know how it worked, and they work in sync with its resets. They'll pop back up after the reset and continue where they left off. Unless someone stops them. So, a big thanks to all our subscribers and friends that do share our research. There's not a lot of people sharing it for whatever reason. But the ones that do, thank you very much, and keep doing it and keep teaching these people the rainbows. If you want to introduce people to our research, just bring up the conversation. I mean, kids would love this. Go out mapping rainbows. There's a brilliant hobby. You see a rainbow, get the GPS coordinates of as best you can of where its center is, and look at the scale, the width of the diameter of the rainbow, and there is the circle of the torus field of that angel, and you're going to find there's holy sites dotted around those sites. These are location markers for the technology below. We'll keep saying this. Forts, castles, star forts, monuments, churches, cathedrals, etc. are all marking this technology. And it does help us give the technology a name, but it is a modern name, such as St. Peter. Whereas in ancient times, it probably had a totally different name. We don't even know the original names of these angels, but I'm sure they are written on them, as Holy Books mentioned. I think this technology will have names and labels if man hasn't defaced and removed it, which is probably what's taking place. And says, what shocks me is that people seem to love their bondage and world of lies. Yeah, it's sad, some people, this won't affect some people, if they're rich and successful or whatever, they think they're doing well in life, they're getting holidays, they're doing the, they're living the life. But it's a false reality. I couldn't go back to that. That's like taking the blue pill in Matrix or something. I couldn't do it. I couldn't lie to myself. When I started decoding Alaska lines, I realised what I decoded and how serious this was. And you've got the option there to walk away or tell its story. What are you going to do? Well, we tell its story. And we've never stopped.
Just keep moving forward.
Yeah. And there's another thing, you can't stop and dwell on it and marvel at it because it will affect you. That's something I can't stop and do. I've got to keep going. I suppose I'm lucky. I can shut down my emotions and carry on going. Whereas, like Jimbo's, he couldn't a few years ago. It was just too much. It just melted your brain, didn't it, Jim?
It became too much for me. Giants especially, just too much.
And that can happen to anyone, So, anyone that wants time off in the teams is more than welcome. I'm surprised some people, I'm surprised other people haven't gone down that route yet and took a break from it. But maybe they're like me, but they just keep going. And it's so exciting and amazing, the research and discoveries we've been making. It does keep you going. And, it's something special. Its story has to be told. This belongs to everyone.
The scale, if I try to think of where it might end, there's no limit. I can't think of an end. The creatures and creation, I can't think of one.
How do you ask questions and utilize? Jason Ginger, just ask the question in the chat, mate, and we'll respond to you. We can see what you're typing in live, so we can respond. Hello, Ricard. Oh, we missed Chilster. Where's Chilster? I didn't see Chilster. There he is. Hello, Chill. CERN is a reverse engineered angel that I decoded as Apollyon. It's one of the original gods, as they called them in times gone by. And I did a decode on it and I traced it as Apollyon. So it's one of the original angel technologies as far as we're concerned. We couldn't find any proof that they actually built it. Now, according to mainstream, they've built 30,000 of these in the world. And take into account that it's supposed to take like 10 years to build one, so we know that's a fallacy. No, they're just claiming what's already here and pretending to build them and fill your head with nonsense. They're not smashing particles. This technology manipulates the ether and it works with the luminaries and it's part of the Creator's glory. These are the angels of the underworld. Yeah, hold on a sec. I'll just... Yeah, any questions, just put them in the chat. Dan the Waterman says, Jimbo, you were so quiet on YouTube since you were hospitalized last year. I'd been worried about your health. So there's Dan in the chat, Jim. Type some yellow in. Now, this link, if you look at this link that Nightbot's going to bring up in the chat, people, you may or may not have seen it before, but that link there, look what Nightbot's information says and click it and have a look. Now, this is the sun halo we've been recording in the sky. We've helped from all our subscribers and friends over the past 5 years. And I made this 3D model from all these videos so we can get a good look at what we're actually seeing. Now, if you can't recognize technology in that configuration, I think you should go to Specsavers, because the sun is part of something else that is doing the moving. You're very welcome, Dan. You may or may not understand it, mate, but, ask questions. If you're not sure, ask questions. We are in a position where we can answer all our research, no problem, and even go deeper with you if you like. I'm not sure what's happened to Jimbo. I'll just check. Where's he at?
I'm still here.
Oh, you're there. Ah, right.
Yeah. Yeah, health-wise, I lost about 100 pounds in a year. So I was kind of like weak. but I'm putting on a bit of weight now, and don't feel as terrible as I used to. So that's a lot better. That's good health news. Getting better.
And it's good to have you back, Jim. We've been missing
It's good to be
expertise.
back. Yeah. And like I say, a few weeks I should be set up and able to, do some work and
Yeah, if you need a hand, just
get
give a
some
shout.
worthwhile stuff done. Yeah. Yeah.
We'll get you. We'll get you there. Don't worry. Annie B says, can you talk about the safe zones map and specifically what would happen in Central America? Looking at moving there, but since I discovered your work, I am doubting the choice of location. Hold on a sec, Annie. I'll just bring up that video and then we'll take a look at it. If I can find it, where are you hiding? There it is. And hopefully I can see exactly where you're pointing. Share screen. All right, that should be sharing the screen now. Just check the watch page. Yeah, there it is. Okay, for Central America. Do we zoom? Yeah, we zoom in on this one. So hopefully we move down the map to have a look. Yeah, we do. All right, so the key, these here, these colors, these patterns, these shapes, at the top of the, there's the list. So this is the key to what's happening in these locations. So Central America, down here is going to have loss of agriculture, loss of livestock, horticulture. Assuming, don't think the best information we can find on this reset is this CIA map. We had to reconfigure it to the correct map because they had the fake Mercator map. So I had to reconfigure this for our research and put everything back where it should be. But, this is what the CIA was saying would happen in the world during this reset. And as far as I'm concerned, these people know what they're talking about because they're part of reverse engineering it and understanding it. And keeping it secret, it seems. So it's the best we've got to go on, and don't take take it at face value. All we can do is take these things at face value. But if you start to see flooding, or the safe zones have got marked here in pink, so the pink areas is probably where you would head. That's where I would head if you near one, the pink area, because it's probably elevated landmass and other things that make it safe. So it looks like South America, like pretty much most of the world, we're going to have famines, and these people are already making that happen now. You look at the bad politics of Great Britain. Since we joined the EU, we've had nothing but our fishing fleet destroyed, and we haven't got one. Then we've had all these pandemics with animals, foot and mouth, BSE, swine flu, chicken flu, blah, blah, blah. It just goes on and on. It's just a decimation of the food chain. So it's a manufactured famine coming. We can see it. We've been telling people about this for years as part of our reset work, that the 400-year reset, it ties in with that, why they would do that. They're trying to make sure there's not many people survive, because what you're seeing in the sky now, this is your revelations. And when you come across the information we release, when you're exposed to this information, you're going to start having your own revelations. You'll have revelations we haven't had because everyone does different things, and you'll put things together differently to what we do, or you probably know a bit more in one area than we do. We just scratch the surface. We say, yes, that ties in. Let's move to the next. All these rabbit holes we've created, you can go down many of them and find even more information. But that's what we do. We validate it and say, yes, that ties in, that makes sense, and okay, let's keep going. So I hope that helps. If I was going there, I'd be looking, how high above sea level is it? Is there any past floods or resets that's been recorded for these regions? How deep's the water? What's the maximum depth of the water? Because when One Conscience was looking at some islands in Japan, some islands off Japan, there were statues there, and they were 300 feet above sea level. And it said on the statue, never build below this height, no matter how much time has passed. So there's a warning from the ancestors. You need to be above 300 feet sea level to avoid tsunamis and other catastrophes that come with this reset, is what it translates to us. Yeah, choose very carefully, Annie, where you want to live. A nice climate, a bit of altitude. Yeah, that's what I'd be looking at. If you've got the choice to go somewhere and pick and choose where you can go, by all means do it and make it happen this year. A few of our team members have done some moves themselves this year. We haven't been sitting about. There's a lot of things happened in my life over the past year and a half that I haven't spoken about yet. But during that and other events, I've been prepping myself, buying things I need, planning ahead, growing my own food, etc., etc. Because that's what's missing from the food chain. We need all these transition elements, and the food chain no longer contains them. It's GMO and all kinds of rubbish. So I would prefer to grow my own and get the transition elements our bodies are screaming for, and they really are screaming for them, because we're not getting them anymore. There's probably people out there that have never tasted real food when you think about it. That's terrible. So, our advice is start growing your own, go back to nature. Nature is your doctor. Always has been, always will be. Hope that helps, Annie, and anyone else that's considering such moves and information. Yes, yeah, you certainly do, Annie. Yeah, all this, the positives and negatives, it's all there in nature. Nature's a very good medicine cabinet. That's where most of our medications come from, nature's sources. Have you seen the invisible structures in the sky, in the negative space, if you follow perfectly straight lines against clouds? Usually triangular smaller ones, airplanes, some large football field. If you look at One Conscience's work on the layers, Brian, you'll see each layer has got clouds moving in different directions, and it's because the halos in those layers that's causing that attraction. That's why you see clouds rushing towards the center of a rainbow. They've been drawn in. They've been drawn into that area. They're electrically attracted to it. And as they pass through, it strips off all those electrical charge and directs it downward to the technology below, which distributes it across the grid or uses it for whatever purpose it's using it for. This is what we call lightning. We can't really put a date on it, but when you look at some of the institutions that are demanding zero carbon emissions by 2050, that suggests, we're carbon. They want rid of people by 2050. So it does seem progressive. It's going to get more and more noticeable, which is why they came the hell out of the skies. They're trying to hide what's really taking place and what you're going to see. They don't want you to see your reality, because then you're going to know they've been lying to you for a very long time. Now, I've no idea how long we'll get to stay on YouTube. I've no doubt at some point in time my channel will be deleted and I'll be banned off YouTube. So I don't really care what I say. I'm just telling you the facts that we've discovered ourselves. So my advice is download our videos. You might not understand them straight away, and they do vary across lots and lots of topics, but you're going to find they all tie in and work together, because we do look at everything and tie everything into how this construct works. That's what we've been doing for 5 years. Like quakes, volcanoes, lava tubes, it all ties in how this construct works and manages itself. It's always been here doing it. Before man even existed here, it was obviously here doing what it does. Do you know something about ayahuasca? After I took it years ago, I was definitely not in this realm with physical body. Simulation definitely for all of us. We don't call it a simulation. We just happen to live in between some amazing processes taking place below and their effects above. So it's not a simulation as such. It might appear like that to some people, but it's definitely not a simulation. This is reality. We live on something very large, very special, and very technologically driven. We would call it the Genesis machine. It creates. And to back that up a bit more, there is now at least one member in the science community that's coming out and saying the same things we are regarding this technology. To quote his own words, he's now realizing that this technology has existed as far back in time as man has fought with man with sword and shield. He's realized it's always been here. Now, he hasn't got the full picture, but that's a good sign. He's recognizing it. He's looking at the geometry and recognizing the symbols and what it actually represents. So well done, that man. And what he's actually put out there is a very brave move. He's exposing them like we are. So a very brave man indeed. I'm not going to name him because he will get attacked off Globers and blah, blah, blah. So I'm not going to name him, but I will put a link out sometime when I think, he's not going to mind certain people going to his channel. But he is a scientist. He works with this technology and he's confirming exactly what we've been saying in his own way. And he'll even tell you some other stories that he's discovered. So science is starting to get behind us. They might not believe everything we put out. In fact, how they word it, guys, and this is for you guys from the science community, because I know you're watching. We do get messages on various platforms from people in the scientific community, and they think we're their scientists hiding in the flat earth arena, which they don't think is real, and we're releasing this information and getting away with it because we're hiding in this arena, and it's a requirement of this world working in a flat earth model, which it actually is. But we're not hiding in this arena to release this information, people. This information comes with a stationary level plane. Now, if you want to dispute that, by all means, I can assemble a team from people on YouTube at any time that could come and represent the flat earth argument against the globe, and it will destroy you. So my advice to you is don't write anything off until you've thoroughly researched it yourself. Prove to yourself you live on a globe. Don't take anyone else's word for it. You prove it to yourself. And you'll find you can't do it. You cannot prove you live on a spinning ball. There's lots of ways you can do it, and depending on your skills and knowledge base and interests, you'll find it quicker or slower. But don't take anyone else's word for it. You've got to do this yourself. Don't be lazy. And that's for you people in the science community that's listening right now. Tracy Ross says, hey FPV, I'm a shock poet on Instagram and some other platforms. I have a poem about you I reposted today across all under Tracy Does Rhyme Time, to let you know if you care to see it. Yeah, I'd love to see it. Thank you, Tracy. Hope it's in a good light, mind. I hope you're not attacking me, because I'm getting it. You're going to find there's some characters lately popping up starting to attack me directly. Now, I represent quite a lot of people on this team, so I don't mind taking the flak. I'll take the flak for anyone on this team. But if you're going to come at me, you better come with truths and proofs, or I'll destroy you publicly. I'll come and audit your channel and show people exactly what you're about. Easy done. So if you're going to come at me, you better come with truths and proofs, or I'll destroy you. There will be no mercy shown anymore to those type of people in this community by us. So my advice is get behind us and support us, or stay well away. We don't have time to babysit idiots. Anyway, back to the poem. Right, let's have a look. I'll have to find that. If someone could link me to that, I'd like to see it, Tracy. I'll put it in our Discord. For those people that don't know, we have got a Discord, and there's lots of rooms in there with projects anyone can join in with, ranging from the ISS to the Rainbow Warriors program to anything that we've missed. If you need a room, let us know what it is, and we'll open a room if there's, if there's something to research that we haven't covered yet. By all means, you can, request a room to be made, and we'll make it for that type of research, depending what it is. But take a look, join in with the Discord, and get involved, people, especially with these rainbows. They're so special, and you can go out and map them yourself. And if you watch the Glastonbury tour video, we have put a lot of information in there to help you, map these rainbows and, determine size, scale, where you might find them. And you're going to find them in locations that don't have anything there yet because they haven't stored it yet, or they haven't built on top of it yet. But they exist everywhere, and they come in different sizes, and they also interconnect with one another in series. And when you look at the configuration, it's the same thing again: compression, fusion, and expansion. In fact, hold on a second. What I'll do here, I'll show you the video I did make. I was showing it to Dell some time ago. Hold on a sec. I forgot about this video, so hold on. Another little video for you to watch. Let's find it first. There it is. Now, this is not going to be to scale. There's a configuration I was looking at and started making more and more sense the more I looked at it. Which one is it? Is it this one? Nope, it's not that one. Hold on one moment. Pressing the wrong buttons here. I'll just stop that share in a minute and share again. Here it is. And I'll full screen that. So I made this to show Dell and explain some things to Dell from Beyond the Imaginary Curve some time ago. It wasn't actually made for Dell. I was making it anyway. I just happened to show Dell it when we were having a conversation. And these are the kind of configurations that we're expecting to see crossing the map. Obviously, they're going to be a lot larger than these. I couldn't find a map big enough to put them on. Now, if you look at the colors of the colors and the scales of them, the scale of these rainbows, and you can see how it compresses down to a central point and then expands out again. Compression, fusion, expansion, division, and multiplication is what these angels are basically doing. They're directing this energy to a central point, sending its energy around the grid or wherever it goes, and anything left is expanded out the other side. Now, the colours very special. They tie in with Walter Russell's research, and your indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, red, violet, ultraviolet. These are the special colours and octaves. These are the fusion points. These are the areas where you can harness different potential of energy from these technologies. Walter Russell science really is the science of this technology, and we're going to keep taking you through it and explaining more and more of Walter's work and how it ties in with this technology. There's only Walter's work covers it as far as we can see, and I can decode Walter's work quite easy. It makes sense to me what it's talking about. So this is the camera going through these different electromagnetic spheres, the torus fields that's the rainbow sit on top of. The rainbow is the spectrum refracting and refracting off this torus field that it sits on top of. This is what's generating winds in your local areas. All these are localized events that you can go out and prove to yourself. If you time-lapse a rainbow, you'll see it appears to move, but it's really the sun moving around it, and it's just illuminating something being there, which is these torus fields, half above the ground and half below. We only see, it's like tornadoes, you're only seeing half of the picture. This is what holy books are also trying to tell you. The underworld is the angel's prison. It means room sealed below, which is what a sarcophagi represents, a sealed room below. And this is how they work. So it kind of banks them and compresses it. And when you study how this works and then look at miniaturization of this in the world today of electronic technology, it's not much different. You can see man's designs and the technology have come from this. All our inventions are derivatives of this. put to various uses, good and bad. So, you know, like I said, going across a map, obviously it'd look a lot larger than these, because these rainbows, sometimes you're breaking your neck looking up at them, they're that big. So, you know, which one you find, you know, you probably found one of the bigger ones that should channel it down to a smaller one. So when you're mapping them, this kind of information will help you to realize, right, that's a big one. So there must be a smaller one somewhere that interconnects to it, and it'll direct it in a certain direction. And eventually you'll map them out and create configurations like I've just shown you here. Hopefully, anyway. So hope that one helps on rainbows and what you're seeing on the landmass. Or over water, for that matter. They're not, you know, they're not contained to just landmass. They're everywhere. Jason Ginger. So living in those zones, would that cause us, say, mental health issues, cancers, etc.? I would say in this world, you know, there's probably good places to live and bad places to live, and identifying them places might not be easy because you're not aware they exist. One Conscience done some nice work in an older video, you know, the EMF spectrum and hauntings and things like this. You know, this technology can answer a lot of questions about other events that people probably aren't aware are related. You might be able to speculate a bit more on that, Jim, if you're still there. Very quiet.
Yeah, I'm still here. I watch a lot of ghosts and demon hunters and stuff, but I tend to stay away from, you know, it's very real, and, you know, if you play with it, you might get in trouble with it, you know.
Yeah.
Just beware, you know. No Ouija boards, no nonsense like that, you know.
Sophia said, what is the function of a rainbow? A rainbow is just an effect from this technology. It's the electromagnetic effect of the torus field of this angel that you're actually seeing. The colours are light refracting and reflecting from it. That's why you get a double rainbow. It's just revealing there's something spherical there, which is the half sphere of the torus field. Now, when you walk into that half sphere, you should notice a wind change. Each one's got its own wind speed and direction. So that's why wind changes direction. But, you know, they're always spiraling motions. This is where the spiral is sacred. It comes from these, you know, it's spiraling outwards. You could be sitting, you know, here's a perfect example. You could be sitting on a bench in a park and there's no wind whatsoever. Then all of a sudden you start seeing dust devils and the wind starts increasing. And if you watch carefully, you will see it rising into the trees and going well above the trees. This is a spiral, you know, this is an angel starting up and it's spiraling pressure waves of electromagnetism going into the atmosphere. This is it spiraling the ether. And we call that wind. That's what we call wind. It's it's the electromagnetic pressure waves of these halos. Now I'm going to do a deeper halo decode here. Hold on a sec, I'll bring another video up for you. Let's see now. Yeah, this one here. Yes, right, let's show you this. Don't need audio on it. Full screen that. Just share. Can you see that in the watch page, everyone? Hopefully, I can't see the screen now on full screen. I'll just check the watch page. Yeah, it's there. That's okay. Right. Get back to full screen. And play this. Now, I want you to watch this carefully, people. This is an induction hob boiling water. Now, what we're going to decode here is the Birkeland currents and show you how they operate and how it is actually this technology that's manipulating the ether. This is what this technology does to the ether. So watch these bubbling away in the water. This is exactly what a halo or coil with alternating current is doing to the ether. And we can prove this with some demonstration, this video here on the right, if you look carefully. So there you see it on the right. This is what's taking place here is one of the nodes on the halo below. This is a Birkeland current from this halo. This is what's creating it. This is just one node of however many nodes is on that halo. You'll find they usually come in the rule of 8, so you get 4 positives and 4 negatives. So this is one of the poles of a halo that create this Birkeland current. So now we can decode what's creating the Birkeland current. And here's some of Walter's Russell's work to confirm that. In any wave, the inductive current seeks the higher pressures at the apex of its cone, the cone of the angel of energy, and the conductive current seeks the lowest pressure at its base. So you would have conduction, and of course its opposing counterpart, induction. So this is what Walter Russell work's also trying to tell you. And you should recognize this shape, pretty much like the scarab beetle and Buddha. The beginning of matter and the inert gases. So this is how it starts: compression, fusion, expansion, etc., etc. Compression, heat. Electricity compresses cold to create heat. So now we get down to the monad. So the monad, I'll just pause that a second because I did have some information I was going to read out about the monad. I'll just find it. Hold on one moment. Okay, on the monad, there are 3 laws of monads, namely the left identity, the right identity, and associativity. So we're going to go through those in this animation I've created. So the monad is obviously the left or the right identity in this case. Why is that not playing? There it is. So the monad, this would be Eve or the cathode. That's the monad. It all starts with a push from Eve. As you can see, she's got her own flow going in one direction. Then we introduce the dyad. Now the dyad is something that consists of 2 elements or parts. So now we have the monad and the dyad, and introducing the dyad with a counter-rotating flow causes Adam, which is the red one, to be 90 degrees in opposition, as Adam is electric and Eve is magnetic. This causes this halo to self-project itself in the sky. It's got nowhere to go but 90 degrees in opposition. This is how this technology puts a halo in the sky. So I hope that part makes sense. And now the Demiurge. Now the Demiurge. Definitions of Demiurge. A Platonic subordinate deity who fashions a sensible world in the light of eternal ideas. Or B, a Gnostic subordinate deity who is the creator of the material world. And number 2, one that is an autonomous creative force or decisive power. So the dyad, I'm on the wrong part here. The dyad, consisting of those 2 elements, now produce the 3rd element, which is called the Demiurge. The Demiurge is the elevated halo in the sky, and these are nature's duality. Nature's duality, these electromagnetic polar opposites. This is how nature truly works. So I hope that makes sense there. Eve's role is to send divided matter up, and Adam's role is to bring down multiplied matter. So division and multiplication from the male and female sex pairs. And this is what the Demiurge looks like in real life. This one was taken in Newcastle, England, UK, a few years ago by 1111 code, and it's probably the best example we can show you. These are also responsible for the lunar waves and Jupiter waves and all of the waves that people are recording of luminaries passing by in the sky. They are these stationary halos in the sky that are passing by, and you are seeing their presence go down the face of the moon, for example. I think Crow 777 was the first to record one of these. So that's the Demiurge. So now we can decode the monad, the dyad, and the Demiurge, people, all in one for you. And this relates to the Birkeland currents, rainbows, and all the rest of this technology. Hopefully other people will look for these above the cities. These exist everywhere. If you want to capture a lunar wave, I recommend locating your local rainbows and locating one of these above them, because every rainbow is going to have one of these above them. And that's what's creating the lunar wave. So anywhere you see a rainbow, film your camera, aim your camera up above it somewhere, When the moon's passing, it should reveal its presence. Hopefully that helps people get more lunar wave captures and gives them a better explanation of what they're actually seeing. Now, all you guys that's doing long distance photography in flat earth, etc., etc., you have these to take into account because these are compressing the atmosphere below them. These are the cones of these angels. This cone here works opposite, going downward to the one above, because we have conduction and induction taking place off these two halos. And this is what's heating our atmosphere. Like I said, a coil, it's an induction. So Eve induces and divides, and Adam, where was he going with that? Adam does the opposite role. He basically seeds it and multiplies the matter, and it's pretty much creation. It's exactly how humans replicate. The female divides and the male multiplies with the seed, obviously, when you relate it to humans' anatomy. So these are kind of doing the same. They're forcing the positives from above and the negatives to below to meet, and this is what's creating lightning and electric. What we see as lightning is taking place in the torus fields where these rainbows are, and it's been channeled down and put to use down below ground. It connects to the grid and it's sent around the grid. This is what's taking place. Hopefully that explains the lunar wave a bit more. It looks like we've lost Jimbo off the panel. But never mind, I'm still here and I'll still chat with you. Jody asks, I took a photo of a Demiurge last week. I didn't know what it was. Brilliant. If you've got a photo or a video of it, do send it to our email address and we'll make sure we put it in our research with your name on it. You can send it to apmhalovids@gmail.com. I'll put that in the chat so you can see it. So, any videos or information that you think we should know about, by all means get in touch or come and chat with us in the chat here. You'll find I'm usually here through the day and night when we live stream our videos and answer more questions or guide people to whatever the question is. I'll try and give you the best advice or answer. But the Operation Rainbow Warrior, everyone should be getting involved with that. This is provable, people. You can go up there and prove these rainbows, they reside where you see them. They switch on and off. Monique says, why do people always call when APM is live? Don't answer the door, Monique. Just shout, I'm not in. Open the letterbox and say there's no one in. I'm not sure where Jimbo went, or did his tablet perhaps run out of charge. But no worries, you've seen some new decodes tonight that you can look into yourself, and hopefully, like with the lunar wave, you can you'll be able to detect where they are easier now, and you'll keep finding them once you know what you're looking for. Use the rainbow as your marker. Above every rainbow, you should find the demiurge of that angel. The monad, the dyad, and the demiurge, they all go together. Well, the waters above is the ether. The atmosphere is, you would treat air and water are pretty much the same, even though they're opposites and they don't seem to like each other. They're both liquid states. They both are liquid in various states, gases and what have you. Different layers are going to contain different types of gases depending on the elements that are in that layer. We'll get into the elements in these layers at another point in time as we decode more. Will also work for you. But yeah, this is what's the ether. The waters above and below are just the primordial waters, that we're actually breathing in a liquid type mixture. Tiny particles of water. Like, you know, Eve divides, which sends the lighter particles up into the atmosphere, which muckies the sky up, and that's why we get dark clouds pretty much. It's your local angels sending mucky stuff up into the atmosphere. Divided stone, divided metal, divided everything that is buoyant enough to be elevated into the sky electromagnetically will go up. And Adam's role is to bring it back down multiplied. This is how rain is created. So a little bit of moisture in the atmosphere going up, and it's going to make the other half, and it's going to bring down a rain shower because it's going to multiply it and give it mass, and then it's going to fall back to the ground. This is how rain works. This technology is what's manipulating the ether and creating rain, lightning, thunderstorms, snow, all the rest of it. It's all localized events by all your local angels. And they're all on cycles that follow the seasons. There's probably ones on cycles we're not aware of yet. You know, we'll figure them out as we get to them, I suppose, if we come across a rainbow that's doing something different to others. But that information will be found by you people. You are the rainbow warriors of our time. You all are. We have to do this together. We can't do this ourselves. You know, we do rely on people helping, sending their videos in, and we can decode them and put them on the screen and make the world aware of where they live and how special it really is. Any more questions from people in chat? There's a straight line, Badfish Bear. There's a straight line from horizon as far as I can see up, and it splits the sky like two realities. It's only noticeable once in a while from one particular spot, and it's not a great spot. I think I've seen something like that myself before, where you think it's like you're looking at the edge of something and something else begins. I know what you mean. You know, you could be looking at the edge of one of these torus fields and realizing, you know, what's somewhat strange there, because beyond it looks different. So it could be the edge of a torus field you're looking at, Badfish. You know, don't forget these torus fields, we're standing within them, we live inside them, and we're looking through that medium at the sky beyond. And, you know, some of these mediums, the colours change. You probably notice yourself sometimes, like everywhere around you suddenly looks like an orange colour. And you think, oh, what changed? What made it go orange colour? Well, it's obviously one that's switched on, and it's an orange part of the spectrum. And then you get red ones, then you get purple ones, violet ones, you know. So if you look at them and underneath them, you will see the colours change on them. You know, these could actually be related to the blood moons and all these names they've got for moons. It could be the torus field of your local energy you're looking through that's creating that colour with the moon. Lots to consider and look into here. What are they spraying the skies? Well, they're spraying the skies to try and dry the atmosphere. They're trying to dry up the ether, which the angels actually need to work and perform their tasks. So they're interfering with the Creator's glory, because obviously when it's working, you're going to see rainbows, you're going to see halos, and lots of things they don't want you to see. You know, revelations means the construct reveals itself in the end times, and that's now. We're showing you the construct revealing itself with these halos and things. So that's what they're trying to hide. They're trying to dry the atmosphere up. They're actually interfering with the precipitation process, which is what the angels manipulate. So they're interfering with how the angels are operating by design. That's my take on it. I'm not sure about the other team members, but after I've looked into it, that's what I see they're doing, and it makes sense. They're trying to dry it up, and so less things get revealed. Brian's got a question too long to type. It's a little way up. Okay, let's scroll up. Let's have a look at Brian's question. Magnetosphere type thing rotating around the inside of it all. He gets most of his model from Enoch. I see a lot of similarities between you guys. That looks like half a message. So, yeah, Sam from Australia. Yes, a flat square Earth inside a prism. Yes, we do know Sam and Sally. I met Sally and actually had a chat with him in a few hangouts years ago when I was doing the international dateline research. And in fact, I met him after that, and I discovered he'd been looking into it as well. I think he started looking at it just after me. But when I seen him doing it, I was already showing people how to find out this information on the flight radar, how you can check the flight routes in the recorded logs and see the manipulation. But yeah, the SAM's model, see these people end at the international dateline, and in SAM's model they've put a glass pyramid there. Obviously it goes north, south, east and west, and you can't go beyond there. So SAM's model is the Mercator map, which is the correct map, but they've embedded themselves in a glass pyramid, because I think people are not sure what to do when they approach the international datelines. They're not sure, what happens there. I don't think they consider it. But we, like I said earlier, our research from the Nazca lines took us beyond them before we realised there was manipulation going on there. It actually helped me decode what was taking place at the datelines. So, yeah, I'm familiar with the model. We've gone beyond the datelines, like I said. Other than that, pretty much the same. I'm not sure what kind of, well, it's a map, they're working with a map. I'm not sure what the model is on their model. Ours is electromagnetic with technology. It always has been. I'm not sure what Sam and them do. But, like I said, we have interacted before with them, and I've actually, I'm sure I shared Sally's work on the datelines as well. In fact, I'll do that again because he's a nice guy, Sally. I'll share his work sometime on the international dateline, because it's good work and very interesting. And it's just more proofs of what we're saying, and we've got more proofs of what they're saying. There's shenanigans going on at the international datelines. Hope that helps. What's that question? That Brian, wasn't it? Yeah. So we're well aware of Sam's map and model. Those guys have been around for some time doing it. But you'll find that, people are not sure what to do when they get to the datelines, and then they start putting domes or pyramids there, which is fine. If that's what they're saying, that's for them to prove. That's their theory. By all means, it's for them to prove. We don't go against it, but we can see no one is crossing there anyway, and we don't put a barrier. We don't put barriers like that on our model. And our model, I've seen people say, you need a container. No, you don't. These halos are the pressure system. These demiurges are what's creating the pressure system. They're what's causing the tides to go in and go out. When they switch on, that water's going to react, and it usually moves away from it. That's what tides are. Tides are reacting to this technology switching on and off. I've covered that in an older video, how the tides, they just spiral around, and you can see it's manipulating the whole water table as it's taking place. So there's tides covered. The demiurges, there's bigger ones than we showed you there. We've seen ones go for hundreds of miles across a beach. If you watch the interview with Robin that we did, you'll see they call them roll clouds, but these are giant halos with just clouds forming around them. This technology actually does form the clouds. They create the clouds. It's vaporizing, the ether around it, the halos. That's what's creating these clouds. And you're very welcome, Brian. Hope the answer was suitable and made sense. I'll just check my Chamber's trying to get back on. No, I don't see him anywhere. I think his pad went flat. But no worries. Jimbo, good news that Jimbo's coming back to join us as well. He's never actually left. He just took some time off because he found this really hard to get his head. Well, he understands it. He fully agrees with it. It's just melting his brain and very upsetting for him. Which it will be if you sit and marvel at it and dwell on it. And that's why I don't stop. I can't stop because then I'll do the same. I won't go into meltdown, but yeah, it just pisses you off knowing what's took place over history. The history of this world. Because like I said in another video, You can look at the past, present, and future now and understand how it works and see what's coming. Because it's all cyclic. There's the big secret they don't want you to know. Everything's cyclic, repeating cycles. And they take advantage of these cycles, these resets. The 1600-year reset in the 1600s. We had the bubonic plague, or the Black Death as they called it. Well, I think that was these people just getting rid of the people of that time. These dark ages now are history. This is these people sneaking around, removing populations, causing all kinds of problems, trying to hide this. But like we showed in the Book of Miracles when we decoded that, these halos and everything existed back then. So people saying that chemtrails caused them, you're wrong. They didn't have chem planes in the 1600s, and these were in the sky then showing. It's just a repeating cycle, which destruction follows, which your holy books are there to warn you about. The end times, revelations, and prophecy. It's all the same thing. Hey Baron, how's it going, mate? It melts my brain. I'm still here though. Yeah, me too, mate. Yeah, me too. I wonder, how much can the human brain take? How much knowledge can we absorb and store? It seems to be unlimited. It just keeps coming and gets stored in there, and all the rubbish gets chucked out, doesn't it? All the space nonsense that you accumulated over the years, throw it away. It's rubbish. Okay, Tracy. Yeah, I did see the message. If someone can find a link to that poem that Tracy's put on Instagram, I don't have Instagram, but I think I can watch the videos on there. If someone can give me a link to it, I could definitely watch it. Oops, what's my bot deleting messages for? Gip. Yeah, right. I see. We did watch Jason on Alpha Vedic show one night, and I think he admitted to making something up, but said there was something there. It was kind of confusing to watch. The reset he was talking about when I was listening, it didn't tie in with the reset we're looking at, and it seems all theory based on all these dates in history we can't validate. Is why I don't go there. We can't validate dates. We can only go back so far in time. After that, everything's a mess. These people have made it a mess, and to hide what's going on, they can add 1,000 years to this, and you wouldn't know they'd done it. They're probably going to do it after this reset. But we didn't see anything. It's all theory based. Where I could see what I was has gone beyond theory. We're showing real world evidence and stuff you can go outside yourself and prove to yourself. That's what we try and do in our research. We can go out there and prove this exists out there. All these effects, what we call in nature, is this technology creating it. You're going to see it once you start studying the rainbows and the wind patterns and the wind speeds and what they do. And how they interact with other luminaries are crossing as well. So, our research is probably the most advanced you're ever going to come across. And we know people aren't going to understand it all. It's impossible to understand it all. We only understand it because we're explaining it and researching it and decoding it. So, it probably depends on your own knowledge base and mindset and interests, what you're going to take from it. But you will find you can go out there and prove some of this stuff to yourself. And we're just going to keep looking for more ways to keep doing it until the world wakes up. No, I don't look at other people's work, Agape. We do our own work. We'd rather validate our own work and keep going. Well, we've been doing this for long enough now. We are going to write books on it anyway, and we have started books and things. We've decoded that much. People don't realize what we've decoded. And there's lots of it have never been put into videos. We decode more than we can create content, and that's what slows you down. That's why we decided to start doing these lives. There's a lot of things happened in my life last year, and it set me back a bit, and and I was holding the other team members back a bit. So, and I've had attacks on my computers and all kinds of stuff over the last year. So that's why I told the ladies to, if you've got anything ready, just put it out rather than, wait for me to try and fix my computer or whatever. Just put it out and I'll catch up with you and we'll put it back into a video at some point in the future. That's why I've told the ladies to, if you've got something, just release it when it's ready rather than hold back. So that's why we've been doing it that way while I repair computers, try and locate the files that went missing, etc., etc. So that's what's been happening here. Okay, Tracy, just email me. I'll have a listen. But no, we don't look at other people's work really, because we'd rather go out there and validate our own work. We don't have time to look at other people's theories. That's for them to prove. We're already proving ours for the past 5 years now. What we've covered, we work with a map and a model, and we've explained both very well, and they can't be debunked. You can't debunk this. It's just the reality of it. I don't have time to look at other people's theories. That's for them to prove. And the rest of the team members will say the same. They're too busy with their own research on this. We have got a map and model to share with the world, a real world map and model, the correct one. And this is never going to stop until we're stopped. Hello, Danny. Right, I'm going to share another video with you, another decode, so you can have a listen to this. Right, what we're going to decode here is the Schumann resonance. So I'll let this play. Hopefully you can hear it, and you'll have a better idea what the Schumann resonance is all about after this. Watch this. In this little clip, I'm going to show you how to decode the Schumann resonance. This image shows us the frequencies in use and the electromagnetic reactions in our atmosphere. The large white area on the right would represent an electrical storm in this image. I want you to take notice of the band along the bottom highlighted with the yellow traces in this image. This band represents the angels that we see and call rainbows. It is their low pressure signature. What this means is they create the low level activity right across the map. So these ones would be responsible for our low pressure system, which includes localized lightning storms, rain, showers, etc. Now look at the scattered band above them. These ones create the high pressure system. In other words, they operate higher up in the layers. Also take note of the patterns. Do you recognize it? Yes, it is the spiral I decoded as the Milky Way. This is what that looks like in this data, and you can see where it physically goes down to the ground. These are our chakras. Very easy, people, it really is. Oops. I was talking for a while there as well. No audio, sorry, I was muted there. So anyway, that was the Schumann resonance decoded APM style. Hope it was easy to understand. The yellow band is the demiurges of each rainbow. And obviously there's larger ones up above them that create those sine waves. You know, these are manipulating the luminaries across the sky. Or as Jimbo decoded, a sweepback transformer, flyback killer operating like an oscilloscope. No, we already work with a map, GAPE, plasma Earth Moon map, but it's just more pizza map nonsense. We debunked them ourselves like 5-6 years ago. They don't work. They should be discarded and not taken seriously. That's why your message is getting removed. We banned those names here, the disinfo agents. I don't see a map of the moon on a Mercator map. And why would you even restrict it? Landmass changes all the time, so why would someone even put a picture of a landmass on the moon? It doesn't make sense. The moon's image is coming from a chamber down below, which is scorch marks as burns, electrical arcing within a piece of technology below. That's part of the moon halo that moves across this. Well, moves across them under the map, and its projection is above the map. They're all coming from below. It's nothing to do with landmass. Yeah, we started banning some names because we were getting spammers from these channels coming here and spamming it. Well, we already work with a map and models, and we've debunked all the others. We don't need to entertain any other map and model. That's for them to prove, which we know they can't. It's just theory work. All real world data backs up what we're saying. Yeah, you can ask questions, but some names of certain people are banned in our stream again. That's why Nightbot's removing your question, because you're mentioning someone's name that's banned here. We were getting crater earthers, moon map earthers, and all kinds coming and spamming our stream. So we started banning them. Why they brought it here, I've no idea. I don't go to their stream spamming our work. So yeah, you can ask questions, but if it relates to other maps and models, we're not interested because they don't work nor exist. I mean, look at the research we've done, people. It's not just map research. We researched how the model and technology of this world works. It goes beyond anything you're going to find out there. Are there different realms? Good question. We've no idea how big this world is. Who said there's an edge? There might not be an edge. It might go on, it could be an infinite plane. We have no idea how big this world is. We've been boxed in with the date lines and treaties. That's as big as the world they're going to show you. But we can already see with the data we look at, it goes well beyond there. These luminaries are coming from the east and going to the west. They don't want you to see where they're coming from and going to, or anything else in those directions for that matter. We don't entertain the moon map, really. I think Jake the Asshole debunked the moon map. We don't need to, because we work on our map. We know our map works, so why would we entertain looking at other maps? There can only be one map. There can't be more than one map. If ours didn't work, we would have discarded it long ago and moved on to the next, but we can't debunk it. And people pushing their maps, I don't consider them researchers, because they're so easy to debunk, all these maps that they keep popping up with and trying to sell to people. We dropped those maps 5-6 years ago. Well, what we discuss on the topics is all related to world mechanics, how this world works. It's world mechanics we're discussing on this channel. You're in a simulation. I think you would know if you're in a simulation. No, the way I word it is we're just standing on ground that's got amazing technologies and processes taking place below, and we see their effects in the sky above. This is where the as above, so below come from. It pertains to the angels and their projections in the sky. It's electromagnetism and manipulation of the ether. Who are the outer ponders? I have no idea. we can only speculate on what's beyond. I actually think beyond here could be Jurassic. I do think beyond here is bigger, because there is I remember Jimbo, when he was doing the giants, he mentioned that I think it was the Hopi tribes in America. They said they used to get attacked from giants that came from the west. Now, when you think of this reset, people, what's in the sky switches off. It goes down. It switches off for this reset. The stars will fall from the sky. You're going to see them reverse directional, all kinds. This is why they're trying to block the sky. They don't want you seeing all this stuff taking place. Now, when all this shuts down, anything outside of this realm has now got access to get into it, from what I can see. Because, to me, this is an electromagnetic shield. It's probably protecting us. So things can start come wandering into our realm. And when this technology starts back up, well, them things are going to be trapped in this realm, aren't they? And if the giants and titans and whatever, they're going to get trapped here and start eating everyone, or eventually get zapped and killed off these halos, which looks like what's been taking place, doesn't it? When you look around, there's giants and titans lying everywhere. What petrified them? Only this technology's got the ability to petrify. This is where Medusa comes into it. Petrifying people. This technology will petrify a large being if it's standing under one of these halos. Geoengineering is more interfering with nature. It's drying the atmosphere up and interfering with the precipitation process, which the angels manipulate. I don't expect anyone to be up to date, Gabe. This information we've been putting out for years, I don't think anyone's going to fully understand it. You'd have to watch all the videos several times to start understanding all this work that we've done. You've got to formulate this big picture in your mind from all this research we've been doing. It's easy for us because we've been doing it and we know what to look at and where to look. We can't really validate 12,900 years ago, but what we can see, Dan, is it's every 400 years. So we looked at the 1600s, the 1200s, and we noticed in those two timelines they were wearing lots of layers of clothes because it was cold. Because when this reset happens, we go into a mini ice age, and that's what we're actually going into now. It's the opposite of what they're telling you. The data shows we're going into a mini ice age, and it follows the cycle of the sun. So, we can jump back 400 years at a time now. So you can go to 800 AD, 400 AD, 0.00 when it all started, which is when the Romans invaded just after a reset and started taking over the world. So it was the Romans that invaded when we were at our weakest just after a reset. That's why it was made easy for them to just march and take over places. So the Roman Empire has never actually stopped. It's still going. It comes under various names of fascism, communism, all the rest of it. All these isms. It's these people. They'll invent anything but to keep you away from the truth. No, we do have plans to have a website, but like I said, we're a small team. We just fund our own research and fun, and eventually we'll get one and put more information up there so it's easier to access. Like I said, we'll probably get banned off here at some point for some of the topics we actually talk about. But it hasn't happened yet, so we'll keep going and keep putting it out there. There's a lot of gatekeeping. you name it. You know, there's some real scumbaggy people in this arena, which we have exposed in a video. Yeah, unfortunately, Dan, we can't debunk ourselves. we do try. We look at everything. We cross-reference everything. We can it be this? Can it be that? You know, we have some amazing discussions in our team. But yeah, you know, we always get to the same conclusion. It is what it is. I'm not going to make excuses for it. It decodes as what it is. And we've always known, you know, we were taught this in ancient times. It's everywhere. You can't, once you realize what you're looking at, you can't stop seeing it. And these are these, you know, you'll find these people depict all these glyphs and sacred geometry like they own it. You know, they think they actually own it. These people run around thinking they own it, and they portray it everywhere. They don't want you to know what it means, but they know what it means, and so do we. It's all references to this technology. Do I have a video about the stars and how they visualize rotate above? Yes. Hold on. I just played that earlier. I'll give you a link to it. This is how, this one here. So this is what the stars are doing. The stars, you know, people talk about the north and south star trails. They're all part of the same mechanism. They both rotate in the same way. You're inside a giant wheel that's kind of revolving east to west. But if you watch our 144,000 video, you'll find it actually revolving west to east at such a rate that we get what's called the wagon wheel effect, and it looks like they're revolving east to west. And when they slow down, which matches Hopi prophecy, the stars will reverse direction. So when you see them starting to reverse direction, that's them slowing down, getting ready for the reset. That's when you run and hide in the hills somewhere and find a cave, a bit of altitude, because this is going to shut down and all hell's going to break loose. So, you know, I would recommend this is that video of the constellations and how they work across this map. As you see, they're all just one mechanism doing the same process. The North Pole and the South Pole are part of the same mechanism across this map. It's like imagine a rugby ball shaped, you know, American football shaped ball revolving across the map. That's kind of what they're doing. They're both revolving the same direction as they're part of the same mechanism. So that's the one there where you can look at the constellations across on the map. What was the other one I was looking for? We do have a playlist. Here's one here. Just type playlist. I've coded bots so you can request things and it'll give you links. Hello, renewed awareness. Predictions. Well, they're trying to, you know, mainstream, we keep saying zero carbon emissions by 2050. So there's a start date. They want rid of us before it takes place. So we're looking at 2050. It's definitely progressive. It's, you know, if it was sudden, I think we'd have seen more taking place by now. So what we're seeing is, you know, sun halos revealing itself, moon halos. We're getting halos above cities revealing themselves, the demiurges. It's all slowly starting to reveal itself. And that's what takes place. We just see more and more of it, which totally destroys mainstream garbage, doesn't it? You know, what is their explanation for all this stuff start to reveal itself? Well, they'll tell you the sun halo's ice crystals. Really? Ice crystals are stalking the sun 90 odd million a mile away. Really? And it just happens to match the configuration of a particle accelerator. Really? This is the kind of nonsense they're telling people. You're seeing the electromagnetic projection of something below the ground. Now, if you look at one conscience's decode of the Egyptian 12 gates, it's the sun's return path in the underworld. So, you know, our sun is on a vehicle in the underworld, and we're seeing its projection in the sky above off its cone. It's being elevated into the sky above us from below. Now, when that goes west, it shuts down, its light suppressed, and it returns east. That light returning east, that's suppressed, is the light that they're calling the ISS. If you watch our seasons video, you'll see a light returning back to the east to start again. It matches the ISS path. There's also other orbits that I looked into. There's one called the Molniya orbit, and over the course of the year, it switches between these two formats where it's returning back east different types of ways. In our Discord, you can look in there. There is one called ISS. We want people recording these so-called ISS crossings and these other lights in the sky. Good zoom cameras, because you're going to find there's differences in these things in the sky. Now, to us, they're just configurations of the technology below. You're still seeing part of what's below going east. Its light's not fully suppressed, so you're seeing part of the halo below crossing east. You're seeing its configuration, more of it, and it's, the technology that produces the sun is what you're actually seeing. But when you look at them in detail, you start to see differences. There's more than one there. Each luminary has got its own unique configuration. And that's why we want people to record them, because sooner or later you're going to notice these different configurations and say, hold on a minute, how can that be the ISS? That's not the ISS, that's something else. It's not even the same shape. You're going to start seeing it, people. I've seen it. Start looking at these high-resolution videos that people's capturing with the P900s and 1000s and look in detail at these lights that they call in the ISS. But, like I keep saying, join our Discord and get involved in some of these projects. If you've got a P900, have a look in there. You can capture rainbows, you can capture lunar waves, you can capture the ISS or other lights in the sky that have a different configuration of technology to what the ISS does. You're going to start seeing things that don't make sense because what they're telling you doesn't make sense. What we're telling you makes more sense. Put it that way. Yes, that's correct, Monique. The sun's configuration is a dead giveaway, which leads to the particle accelerator at 144,000. This is where that number comes from. It's a start number. The Book of Enoch mentions numbers even higher than that. So we haven't got an exact figure for how many there is. But if we can get people mapping rainbows, we know every one of them is going to lead to one. Large ones, small ones. I mean, we've got one there that looks like 100 feet wide or something. It's the smallest we've ever seen. So we give that the title of cherubim, which we think that's what the cherubim are. Cherubim, seraphim, Elohim, Anunnaki, all these names, they're just different names for this technology and probably different variants of this technology. Well, I think I'll call it a day, people, unless you want me to chat about other things. Anything on your minds? No idea where Jimbo went. I can only imagine that he's only got access to a tablet at the moment, so I can only imagine that his tablet went flat. No, not dome. Well, the only domes you're going to really see, WC, is the ones below the rainbow, and that's the torus field of an angel. Hello, Sally EBW. I'm quite new to your channel. It fascinates me. Thanks for what you all do. You are very welcome from the team. Thank you. Thank you for looking in and hopefully sharing this important research with the world. The sun and moon up in the sky at the same time. Yeah, they've all got their own cycles and roles to do. Each one of them's got their own role to do. What you find with the moon, it moves north and south very fast. It moves, I think in the book when it mentions it uses 6 gates or something. It moves north, within 2 weeks you'll see it in the north and back in the south again. So it moves up and north and south rapidly compared to the sun, which moves, slow north and south because it's creating the seasons. But the sun moves faster east to west. So one's moving north and south really quick. The other one's moving east and west a little bit quicker than it. So yeah, they've all got their own roles to do. They're all involved in creation processes. When you realize what you're looking at with those lights in the sky, the Creator has shown you 1 unit of electricity. The sun is actually showing you 1 unit of electricity is the sun. And then there's variations of it, like different octaves. You're going to get different colors. The sun, the moon, these are the luminaries. They're all different octaves of this technology that the Creator's showing you how it's created. It's actually a map of, when you study it, the Creator's showing you in the sky, it's a map of how it all works. It's amazing. Most amazing thing you'll ever lay eyes on, especially when you understand, like I said, you've got to get your head around this, what this technology is actually doing. It's all involved in creation processes. You're very welcome, WC, from the team, mate. To a weather report. Hey, once you start understanding how your local angels work, you'll be doing your own weather reports. You'll be able to determine the wind speeds and all kinds. It's all cyclic. This is how the weather people read the, they're given this information of people that know how it works and when they're going to switch on and switch off. This is how you start mapping the weather. You'll find these 72 angels, those white dots on the grid we use, also known as the 72 virgins, because they don't connect to anything else. You're going to find on their mapping grid there, the grid we use from Nazca line, there's 72 dots on that grid. You've got the ones around the gates in the north, south, east, and west. And then you've got 24 in the center, the 24 elders. Add them up, you've got the 72 virgins, because none of them are connected to anything. So various religions are referencing these exact same angels, which we can now reference with the grid we use. Fancy that, that a grid from the Nazca lines decodes the same as what holy books are speaking of. No coincidences here, is there? Well, the angels control the weather. Man's just manipulating the weather themselves, knowing how the angels do it and making man-scale technology to make it rain or whatever they want it to do. What man's done is they've hidden, privatized, reverse engineered, and monetized the Creator's glory. So they're just playing with it. They're playing God. Now we're onto the word God. The word God didn't exist in ancient times. It's a more modern word. In the ancient times, they called it, they just referred to it as light in the ether. In fact, your holy books will tell you God is light. So what the creator and God are two separate things. The creator of this construct has shown you how to work with God, which is light. And they use compression, fusion, and expansion cycles, which causes division and multiplication, which is creation itself. So the creator's tools of creation are these angels, and they're designed to perform these tasks. What we call nature is this technology doing it. Including the lecky. Yeah, free electric. Electric's always been here. It should be free. All man's done is brought a cable to your door and a smart meter and charging you money for something that's already here. It's the most abundant thing this world's got, electricity, because of how this technology works. L, electric, yeah. Israel, Isis and Ra, electric. The female and male electric sun. It's so easy. This is the arc. The arcing of those two forces, the positives and negatives meeting. That's creation right there. This is how light creates. Light or electricity, call it what you like. The atomists call it atoms. Particles, atoms. It's light in the ether, and it can be manipulated. It's in water, it's in air. So Nikola Tesla's role really was to get alternating current, which is what this is. All this is alternating current. That's the angels generate. His job was to get them to your door and let the appliances do the conversion to DC. You'll find that most appliances convert to DC. So you've got alternating current coming in from the ether, compressed and spiraling down, the spiraling down wires, the light spectrum that's already contained within them wires have already been aligned correctly, and all they have to do is send a sine wave down that line, and that will cause that to react. When you study how rotating magnets that can heat water, no different to an induction cooker, is it? That's where the design actually comes from. It's another design taken from how the construct works. Satellite equipment carried by balloons or entirely on land. Well, satellite's anything that's away from its home base. So, like GPS antennas, they're just antennas here and there, dotted on islands and other places. Or they just all interconnect. Then you've got the ones in the sky on balloons. There's also aircraft that you could call satellites. They probably fly around in circles all day and doing different shifts and transmitting things from up there. Man can't go into what they call outer space. It's nonsense. There's no zero gravity up there, floaty stuff. You can only go so high. We can only see up to the stars anyway. I don't think they're that high either. In fact, the further east or west you go, you're going to find they start to look bigger and closer to you. Yeah, because they do rise and fall. They rise at the east and come down in the west. So the international date lines are there to stop you discovering that. Isn't it amazing the amount of subjects you get to talk about in flat Earth? I mean, we rarely talk about flat Earth because that was a long time ago for us. When we realised it was flat, we just got on with researching what this world is and how it works, which we call world mechanics. Super Bowl. Yeah, there's another one. Etymology, etymology is a thing really worth looking into. I've seen One Conscience use it a few times, and I've used it a couple of times myself, and it makes more sense when you start breaking down the etymology of a word. We definitely, in the old times, even when I was at school when I was young, we had lots of different words that had different meanings. So some words were the same, but depending on what sentence you put into it, it meant something else, and that was used a lot in ancient times, and those skills have gone, but etymology cannot bring them back. Because it's all still there, it's just all coded and hidden. These people like to code things and hide it. But once you know what you're looking at, you can see it. Yes, flat Earth's the beginning. It's the gateway to the truth. It really is. It will bring you to the truth. Eventually you'll work it out, and that's what are you doing, working it out, how it all works. Gematria, I look at gematria. I mean, it's probably got uses, but we can't find it. It's not helping me decode how this construct works. I can't. I've asked Jason's our numbers guy, and even Jimbo, both intelligent men that know their maths. I would ask them that question, but you'll find we haven't really used it because we can't see how it's related. And a lot of things, they restrict you to a set of numbers. Why would you do that? You don't want to be restricting yourself to a set of numbers because then you're limiting the answers you can actually accept. So we wouldn't entertain that really, unless someone could prove, it does actually decode something that we find, it relates to world mechanics somewhere. Perhaps it does, but, we're not seeing it or finding it. But it doesn't mean it's not useful because, you can use things like that to decode what these elites are talking about. So that's probably a better use for it. They use coded stuff and gematria might catch them out. I don't really go down them routes. That's not my department. Yeah, the owl. Well, you look at an owl, it just represents a torus field, the two eyes, really, with the bits around them. It looks like a torus field when you just concentrate on the eyes and the shape around them. It looks like, it reminds me of a torus field. Just looking through the chat, see if there's any more questions. They want us to believe there are non-moved satellites above giving us GPS. Well, if there's anything above, they will be moving. They can't stay up there forever. What goes up must come down. It's a famous saying, that, isn't it? What goes up must come down. You're very welcome, Sophia. The beehive symbol. I'd have to look at the shape of that again. It's been a while since I looked at a beehive. It'll probably represent the torus field or something similar. You know, when you think of the shapes, these shapes represent something. They all represent something that they know what it represents. And if I looked at it, I'll probably realize what it represents as well. But I can remember seeing it ages ago, but I'd have to look again, you know, if it's a specific one you want me to look at. I heard the owl raging slab, youtube.com. Hold on, I'll get that link and so we can put a proper link in chat for people, Dan. One moment, I'm just trying to get that link for what Dan's just put in chat. All right, there it is. There you go, Dan. That's the link for that. Yeah, you know, so I do see people doing geometry and things, but it doesn't overlap into anything that I'm actually working on. It might with other people, but it doesn't with me, so I don't really look there. Like I said, it's not my department, that. Well, you know, it's like astrology, what's it called? Numerology. You know, you can make them numbers do anything, so you got to be careful. People trick you with numbers. That's why I don't really entertain it. I've seen people be tricked by it, and I've been warned by Jason, you know, to avoid it, because you can do a lot with numbers and make it read anything. But at the end of the day, what does it decode? It's not revealing anything to me. It's just numbers designed to give you an expected answer, you know, a pre-programmed answer. You can do that with it, and that's kind of cheating, really, isn't it? Then again, you might come across something that makes total sense. Who knows? But, you know, I don't really look there. It's not my department. And I have been told to avoid it by Jason because he'll know better than me. Like I said, you know, the team's got individuals in that's more advanced in areas than others, so I leave that to them kind of people. Jason's, you know, he done the decode on gravity, and he's also done one on space-time and time-space. I'll let him do that. You know, that's his decode, and he still hasn't released it yet. But he's going to do it someday to let you explain what that actually means. Because that's what we do, you know, especially One Conscience and people like Jason. They look at what mainstream's telling you. They put the APM perspective on it, on what we know already with our knowledge, and reword it to make sense. Because what they tell you never makes sense. You can't get answers out of it. You know, there's no end point you can go to with their answers where you can prove anything. It's just bullshit. All they give you is bullshit. But we can, you know, fix that. We can say, no, it actually relates to this, and this party in Walter Russell's work is what it's actually referring to. That's what we like to do. We'll say, no, it means this. It's this. It's causing this or doing this. That's what you'll see in One Consciousness work. She's very good at looking at what mainstream tell you, putting her APM eyes on and taking a good look over it and telling you what it really means. You know, totally rewording some of it as well. So that's what she's really good at. So, you know, one of one conscience's skills. That's, if you want the proper terminology of what you're looking at, listen to one conscience's work. Fantastic work. Well, you know, it's not just one. I mean, everyone in this team, including people you're not even aware of, you don't know the names of some of the people on this team because you don't know of them. But every one of them is doing amazing research. And they all interconnect and make more and more sense. I'm sure most of you guys in chat see it, you know, when we release a video or come and discuss things like now, more and more things start clicking together and making sense. You know, don't be scared to ask questions, people. That's all we can say. Ask as many questions as it takes until you're happy with the answers you've got. You know, we're here to give you answers. And like I said earlier, we do want to consult with people at higher levels. We need to be speaking to people at the right levels that can make a difference now. But who are they? Who do you trust? Where are they? What are they doing? You know, they're all sitting back watching all this unfold and no one's doing anything. You all see it. We see it. It's just unfolding like, you know, preset plan of theirs, and everyone's just sitting back letting it take place. Very serious shit we're in, and people aren't seeing it yet. Yeah, you know, I can't trust any of these politicians. They're all in it together. They all work together. You know, you see, like in UK politics, they're calling each other names, all kinds across the room. Then an hour later, and they're in the bar having a pint together. The world really is a stage, and these are all actors. So here's a list for you: politics, religion, the globe, royals, and probably a lot of other things are put in place by the same entity to hide this. Definitely on the same team. You know, these are the good and bad, the good cop, bad cop routine, north and south, east and west. It's them that create all these divides, these wars that divide countries. Communism moves in one half and something moves in the other half, but it's the same people. World War II proved that to me when we realised what was taking place in World War II, and it's all designed to hide this construct. They have to be working together, and how you prove that is a space agency or attachments to nuclear technology and particle accelerator technology. If they're involved in any or all of them, they're all working together because they are the spoils of World War II. The spoils of World War II is total and unrestricted access to the Creator's glory, which is taking place right now. So you want proof of a creator, people? Look no further. We're showing it. You can go out there and prove this to yourself. You'll find references in holy books and many other avenues of rainbows and how special they are. And we've now decoded that they reside where you see them. It's part of the electromagnetic signature of one of these angel technologies. It's electric, 90-degree in opposition to magnetism. Well done, Bobo Jangles. First Sun Halo. Isn't it amazing? It's jaw-dropping when you see how big it is. Well, lockdowns, that's them just looking to exterminate and get rid of more and more people. They don't want you going outside. They definitely don't want you to look at the sky. They're trying to hide it now. But you look at the sun halo, you will see it. Just watch the sun, people, and you'll see the halo that comes with it and the technology that surrounds it. The sun dogs. The sun dogs are nodes. We call them nodes at first, but they're actually electromagnetic poles, north and south poles, just like magnets. Electromagnetically switches them to create the flow. This is how this technology works. Watch our 144,000 video and you get the Adam and Eve decode in there, what Adam and Eve actually is. It's all Adam and Eve when you look at it. At least you people now have got a better idea what's going on in the sky, why they chem the sky, what to look for in the sky, why they're chemming and trying to hide it. Go and have a look at the sun halo. Go and start mapping your rainbows. Look at your tornadoes and water spouts and realize it's the same technology doing what it does. They've always been there doing it. And you're only seeing half of the picture, remember. The other half's below. As above, so below, decoded. And like I said with rainbows, you're going to start watching your local rainbows and seeing how they manipulate the weather. They create the weather locally. They're all local events. All your angels are creating your own local weather. So when you feel the wind, that's one of them. It's switched on. It's on doing what it does. The wind is its spiraling pressure wave of electromagnetism. It gets forced down, then outward. There you go. Yeah, life will reveal itself. The construct will reveal itself. People just aren't sure what it is they're seeing. That's where we're trying to help people, show you, explain to you exactly what it is you're seeing in the sky. So if you rewind these videos back and look at some of the little clips that the little decodes have done, they'll help you understand the Schumann resonance and Birkeland currents and things like that. It's this technology. It's manipulating the ether. This is exactly what it does. Amazing. You want the Angkor Wat video again? Okay. Here you go, people. Angkor Wat decode. Today, we will reveal what Angkor Wat truly represents so you can see this for yourself. Angkor Wat, meaning the City of Temples, is located in northwest Cambodia. It is the largest temple complex in the world by land area. At the centre of the temple stands a quincunx of 4 towers surrounding a central spire that rises to a height of 65 metres, 213 feet above the ground. The temple has 3 rectangular galleries, each raised above the next. Pay particular attention to the 4 spiralling towers and the central spire. Here is some real-world magnetic data from series that shows where in our world these locations are. They are structures in the underworld, and the 4 pillars are the ones referenced in holy books and represent the torus fields from the angel technologies in the underworld. Angkor Wat is a massive blueprint of the Creator's construct and underworld, hence the name, the City of Temples. It reveals their locations when placed over the map and grid, including parts that go beyond the international date lines. Ladies and gentlemen, Angkor Wat is a massive blueprint of this realm. It represents the reactor at the centre of our grid, with its central column being a large torus field. The 4 pillars mentioned in holy books are these 4 you see here. We will try to reveal their locations in our next video. This is a decode of the Sri Yantra, brought to life by Sandra. What you will see is it represents the exact same creation process. The compression, fusion, expansion, division and multiplication, which is what you see with the lotus leaves. The expansion part of the process caused them to divide and multiply, which is how creation works. We will be decoding more of your sacred geometry to help you realize what it represents. That is an APM research promise. So there you go, another decode of basically a fusion reactor. Hello, Shab. Yeah, it's an amazing site. There's a lot of sites I'd love to go in the world, but that's probably a bad idea moving around at the moment. So, for me anyway, so it won't be until we know the world's been fixed before I start venturing beyond. We've got a lot of work to do, guys. Lots to do yet. A world to wake up and change this system. It needs removed. This system sucks. It really does. It's anti-human. It's anti-creation. What they put in place is anti-creation. It's evil. There is another video I'm going to share with you. Is it that? Right, I think I'm going to call it a day, people. Nice meeting and interacting with you as always. We do love questions from the chatters. You'll find that with our scene. We love questions and we don't hide from them. You know, we can answer lots of questions, and any we can't answer, they're the ones I look for. If we haven't got an answer for it, it makes us do a little bit more research, and perhaps we'll find some new answers, more information, more decodings. That's how it works. Because some of you guys are going to have information we're not aware of, and you'll mention something and we'll say, "Ooh, that's interesting. Let's go and have a look at that." And sooner or later we start getting answers. You know, this is how it works. And can it be cross-referenced? Can we find it anywhere in history? Is the glyphs or anything reference it? And there's lots, you know, we've got so we can fall back on to start verifying what it is we're actually looking at. You can't do subtitles on the live stream, but I'm pretty sure the recording will add them afterwards. Normally they would need edited anyway, because it doesn't seem to like my accent or my voice, one of the two. So I end up having to edit them sometimes. It is what it is. Anyway, I'm going to call it a night, people. Lovely to catch you all on and see you here. 44 watching, that's a good sign. 44 people, hopefully a little bit wiser what's going on out there. And, ooh, got a cool accent. Excellent. At least someone understands me. Yeah, you know, an accent's an accent. After a while, you don't even notice it. So people having to go at you for your accents, ignore them, you know. Listen to Delby on the Imaginary Curve. That's got a stronger, deeper accent than I have. But I don't notice his accent because I'm not used to listening to him now. The longer you listen to people, the accent just goes away. You don't see it anymore. You don't hear it. Well, that's how it works for me anyway. But yeah, have a nice night, people. And I'm going to play you out with this video here. Where's it at? This one? Nope, that's not it. Where did it go? Try again. Oh, that wasn't a video file, that's why I can't find it. Hold on. There it is. I'm going to play out with this, people, and we'll catch you on the next one or in the live streams during the day. Here we go. Who are you indeed? Thank you all and good night.